So, I had my first TPK. Yep, that's right. I had my first TPK in Dungeons & Dragons, which sounds pretty weird because I've been a DM for, a little over 15 years. Weird, right? Usually as a DM, I like to try to avoid TPKs, and, people die in campaigns. However, sometimes it's blatantly obvious that whenever a TPK is about to occur, players either find a way out of the situation, they run, they get away, they figure out how they should better go about this action plan, even though somebody might died. And every once in a while, I might kind of give them a little helping hand, play a little card of fate to help them get out of the situation, because when there's a TPK, it sucks, quite blatantly. However, this is one I couldn't really avoid. So, here's the story. We were playing Descent into Avernus, and just so you guys know, there are going to be some spoilers for Descent into Avernus if you haven't played this campaign yet, so here's your warning. Our players were on Harmon's Hill, fighting a Devil Lord who rode down on a Nightmare Horse. And our players successfully were able to defeat the Devil Lord on the Nightmare Horse by charming him and then throwing him into the River Styx to cause him to inevitably be there for almost ever being feeble-minded, and then they polymorphed him into a frog. And that's how they got rid of the Devil Lord. However, the Nightmare stayed, and he was going to fly away because his master is pretty much gone, and his pact with his master is broken. And the party wanted to keep him as a companion, as a mount to join them in the party, which I was okay with, actually, because our party only consisted of 3 people. We had my brother-in-law, who was playing a ranger, and my 2 friends, who were playing a druid and a warlock. However, for a task like this, to get a nightmare on their party to join them on the adventure, I kind of had to make them work for it, per se. It'd be no fun if I was just like, sure, he's in your party, go ahead. No, I made them work for it. They had to convince me a little bit. I was going to let them do it, but, the fun of the roleplay is to sell me on it. How do they get this nightmare to join them? How do they get this nightmare to make a pact with them? And eventually, after an hour out of game, they were able to get the Nightmare Horse to join them on their adventure. And this took forever. During that time, the party companion, Lulu, which is the Mount of Zariel that is leading the party to find the Sword of Zariel, was stolen by Hell Wasps and taken away into a Hell Wasp cave. And that's where we ended that part of the adventure for the day. We came back the next week, and the party members had to go find Lulu in the Hell Wasp cave because she's very essential to the story. So the party made their way into the Hell Wasp nest to find Lulu, and luckily our druid, being a druid wild-shaped into a spider, was very successful in stealth and was able to traverse and explore the Hell Wasp cave with ease. And it turned out there was 4 layers to this cave or nest of sorts. There was the bottom layer, in which they were on currently, which was empty. There was a pillar that led up to the 2nd floor, 3rd floor, and 4th floor consecutively. On the 2nd floor, there were 3 Hell Wasps. On the 3rd floor, there were 3 Hell Wasps, and on the 4th floor, there were 2 with Lulu stuck to the wall, bound by honey from the Hell Wasps as they were saving her for later. So, the party had this game plan, and it sounded good on paper. This is what it was. They go up to the 2nd floor, they all sneak up and surprise attack all the Hell Wasps. As soon as initiative starts, they jump down the hole, and the druid casts Sleet Storm on the hole. So the Hell Wasps have to follow, go down, take damage from the Sleet Storm, and move through difficult terrain, and in the meantime, the party can then jack them up while they're going down the hole. Then hopefully, the Hell Wasps from the 3rd layer follow suit, go down, and also take damage, rinse, wash, repeat until all the Hell Wasps are dead. That was the plan on paper. This is what actually happened. The party went up the hole, and they did get their surprise attacks on the Hell Wasps because they were distracted. But then they rolled for initiative. All the players, except for the Ranger, my brother-in-law, went before the Hell Wasps. The Druid and the Warlock, not thinking, decide to hold their actions, jump down the hole, and wait for the Hell Wasps to come through to start unloading their attacks on them. However, my brother-in-law, Luke, he was very last in initiative. All 3 Hell Wasps in layer number 2 attacked him because there was nobody else to attack. And they each get 2 attacks. One of their attacks can stun somebody and paralyze them, and they're actually kind of beefy a little bit. So they actually knocked him unconscious and caused him to fall down the hole which they climbed up in. The party then realized they were kind of in some shit because they are now down a party member, and the Hell Wasps are coming down the hole, and if they cast any spells while the party member is laying on the entrance of the hole, he's going to take some death fails. But luckily, they were able to grab his body and pull it out of the way with their held actions, so that way the Hell Wasps couldn't go down and just, cause more havoc and chaos. They also have the Nightmare Horse in the bottom layer with them to help them fight these Hell Wasps. Luke the Ranger temporarily being out of commission and out of the way wasn't that big of a deal. However, the Hellwasps come down, Druid casts Sleet Storm, starts doing some mass AoE damage, and the Hellwasps begin to attack the party. One on the Druid, one on the Warlock, and one on the Nightmare. However, the Nightmare very quickly died to this Hellwasp because he just couldn't beat the Hellwasp. And the Warlock and the Druid, very upset by this, thought he's not going to get death saves. I'm like, no, he's a creature. He just dies. And they were very, very heartbroken because it took so long to get this Nightmare on their team. However, it's just a creature. And I did reiterate this to them, like, it's just a creature. But okay. But it died. It got killed by Hellwasp. So now it's 3 Hellwasps versus 2 players. Luckily, they were able to kill these 3 Hellwasps because they were all pretty low from the Sleet Storm, but they were pretty badly injured and bruised. Now they're down a companion that they took an hour inside and outside of game to even get on their side. And the only reason Lulu got captured by the Hellwasps is because they were so distracted by getting Nightmare on their side that they didn't notice Lulu was being taken. So some time goes by, Luke is able to pass all of his death saves, and the Ranger eventually goes up at 1 HP, and he's able to cure himself with all of his Cure Wounds spells. He dumped all of his level 1 spell slots into Cure Wounds to get him back to full HP. The party then went to layer number 3 because the Hellwasps didn't follow down to the Sleet Storm because the Hellwasps can communicate telepathically, and they kind of knew what was going on. They were under attack, and they were standing guard instead of moving down. So they go up to layer number 3, one-on-one, one for each person, and they all attack and defeat the Hellwasps successfully, however, taking a lot of massive damage. Very hurt, very beaten, but they know there's just 2 more Hellwasps that are left on the top layer. They all prepare, heal themselves the best as they can, and they're almost out of spell slots and everything else that they could possibly use to defend themselves, but they are sure they can go up to this 4th and final layer, kill the 2 Hellwasps, and get Lulu back. Or so they thought, because that's when the Nat 1 started rolling in. The players went to the 4th and final layer, and it was not good at all. The Warlock, the Druid, and the Ranger, I think collectively in this final battle, rolled like 6 or 7 Nat 1s, on top of the 3 or 4 Nat 1s they had rolled previously in the battle beforehand, and they were already at a disadvantage because of this. They were hitting each other, they were completely missing, they weren't doing good, they were missing crucial attacks, and eventually the Druid went down, paralyzed on the ground, and couldn't get up. Eventually, the Warlock in the same round also went down, paralyzed on the ground, and failed a saving throws to also get up. That left Luke the Ranger alone with 2 Hellwasps and Lulu stuck to the wall in Honey, and he only had a few options here that he could really do. Option number 1, he tries to fight off the Hellwasp. 1 was on death's door, 1 had not been hurt yet because of all the Nat 1s. And he kept trying to kill the one that was hurt, but just couldn't land any of his attacks. I don't think he rolled above a natural like 7 or 8, which was not enough with his modifier to even hit one of the Hellwasps just 1 time. So the options came down to, he can run and try to find help, or he can try to free Lulu, or he can try to fight the Hellwasps. Well, fighting the Hellwasps 2-on-1 face-to-face range because they're just following him consistently and he has his bow out is not exactly a very good scenario. So he pretty much broke down to, I can run or I can get Lulu off of the wall. However, the problem came with, to get back to where they came, he would have to go down this Hellwasp nest, get back on his Hell motorcycle, and just traverse across Avernus for days by himself in the hellish landscape, trying to find some sort of help, not knowing where he's going without a guide, and probably be doomed more than likely, or get Lulu down off of the wall. This is the part, as me as a DM, it's hard for me to intervene in a scenario like this. And I'll explain why after I finish the story, because some of you probably asked in the comment section, oh, you probably could have done this, you could have saved them, why didn't you do this? You could have avoided the TPK. I'm going to explain to you why I didn't at the end real quick. Eventually, my brother-in-law Luke, he goes to Lulu and tries to get Lulu down. It was a DC 20 athletics or strength check. I even let him roll with advantage. I tried throwing him a bone. I said, with your last strip of might, you know for a fact if you don't get Lulu down to cast the spells to get the party back up, then you guys are surely doomed. You could roll with advantage as you were very inspired by this moment. He didn't get above a nat like 6. And I let him roll twice because he was getting attacked, so he had 2 rounds to do it. But eventually, he went down. And eventually the entire party was on the ground, paralyzed, getting stung to death, and died to the Hellwasps. And that's where we ended that adventure. We decided to close the book on Descent into Avernus for now. We're going to come back to it and try again another day. And we're going to move on to something different for a while. Now, why didn't I intervene? Why didn't I do anything about this? Well, that's the line when it comes to being a DM a little bit, is you want to help the party. You want to tell a successful adventure story for everybody to have fun, to have a good time, to enjoy the game. However, part of the game, part of D&D is the fact that death can sometimes happen. Without the fear of death in a game of D&D, it kind of takes away some of the game a little bit. If the reality and the fear of death in a game of D&D wasn't there, and you were running a game where you would tell the party like, hey, don't worry, you're not going to die no matter what. If you get knocked out, you black out and you come back up later, or whatever, this and this and this. That makes players careless. It makes players, know that they have a god factor behind them. They're not actually going to die. They can do things carelessly. They don't got to think about things. Without the fear of death, without the possibility of death, it really takes away some of the game. And yeah, maybe I could have thrown him a bone, got him out of there, figured out something. Light from holy heavens comes down and helps you get Lulu out of the wasp, and she helps fight the party. You guys all come back up and you're great. Or I could have told him like, yeah, you jump down the hive, you run for your life. Your two friends die, however, but you're able to go on and live another day and try to find new party members to help you save the world. But then you look at the reality of the situation, I'm like, well, he's in hell. He's got to get on this motorcycle. He doesn't know where he's going. There's devils and demons everywhere. He's kind of doomed. It just didn't make sense. Contextually wise, like, it just wouldn't work. And I could have, I could have made it work, but would it really be believable? The party would know I'm just giving them a handout. And what fun is that? I know my players, maybe some players would like that. However, I know my players, they like the fact that death can be part of the game, that there is legit danger in the game if mistakes are made. Sometimes bad things just happen. Sometimes there's bad rolls. Sometimes luck is just not on your side. And if I don't stick with that and make the threats of death in a game present, then to me, what kind of DM am I? At least to these players, to this party. I know how they like to play. I know their style. And I know they appreciated the fact that I didn't just give them a handout to get out. They messed up on their own fault by making some missed calls. They didn't cast spells when they should have cast spells. They didn't think about the plan very in depth. They just kind of rushed in. It was their own foolish mistakes that did it. They kind of got themselves killed on top of some bad rolls. But at the end of the day, we all had a good laugh about it. We all had some fun. It was kind of sad for a minute there. It was everybody's first TPK ever, even mine as a DM, and I didn't know how to feel. I felt very conflicted. I felt very bad, actually. And I asked the party, I'm like, would you guys have wanted me to save you from that? Like, I easily could have. And they said, no, like, if you do that, then that just makes it not fun. If you just take away the fear of a TPK or death, then kind of what's the point? Sometimes shit happens, and sometimes you gotta deal with it, and that's fine. So we decided to close the book on Descent into Avernus for now, and we're gonna start playing a Curse of Strahd campaign with another player or two of mine, so we have a little bigger of a party. So that way we can maybe avoid some TPKs and have some fun, and just, keep on adventuring. However, that is not the end of Descent into Avernus for these players. No, it's not. You see, the way I look at it is the heroes that were going to save Baldur's Gate and Yggdrasil and Descent into Avernus, they failed. They were on this journey, on this quest with Lulu, the companion of Zariel, to find the Sword of Zariel, to take her down, to stop her reign. But they failed, which means something happened, right? It means Zariel probably won. She probably drugged more cities into hell, began to rise into power. So therefore, while we're playing Curse of Strahd, in the meantime, I'm going to be rewriting a little bit of a different ending for Descent into Avernus. My players are going to be making level 15 characters to deal with the consequences of their old players' actions and take down Zariel at her highest power once and for all before she inevitably takes over the entire realm. So guys, that was it. That was how I killed my party with bees by accident. It was a lot of fun. It was sad. It was funny. It was bittersweet. But at the end of the day, we all had a good time still. Sometimes TPKs suck. Actually, usually TPKs suck. But that doesn't mean that it wasn't a learning lesson or it wasn't a good memory. Thank you guys for watching this video so much. I'm Brandon the DM from the Cantrip Cast. Thanks for watching. Make sure you like, subscribe, and we'll see you later.